Hi, welcome to the video. So there is a slight problem within the Kenny Veach mystery, and I'll give you my opinion of it as well. It's the fact that there are certain people out there who are claiming the mystery has been solved for definite, case closed, the end. Now, reality is it hasn't been solved. You can argue that there has been new leads, new information and evidence which now slants towards a different direction, the outcome of Kenny, him being alive, elsewhere, living, hiding, whatever. But ultimately, he has not been found, not captured on camera since, caught, handed in, interviewed. You know what I'm saying? That hasn't happened yet. So you can't say it's come to an ultimate conclusion. And as well, from the other perspective, his remains have not been found yet whatsoever from that perspective. So really, it has not been solved completely. Progression has been made, but that's about it, okay? As with the M Cave mystery, the separate mystery, that's harder to say and determine because true, no one has actually found the cave yet, but you can still put that argument across, vast area, and I'm sure there's places, locations which have been missed by people. We saw it with Jeff Claw's M-shaped cave, which only he saw and no one else saw. So you can put that argument across. Now, who's really doing it? I mean, the odd person might say it's been solved because they know something majority of other people don't know. Okay, fair enough, but it's a bit weird how that person's keeping hold of all the information then. Now, an example, just in general, would have been really Robin, someone who claimed the mystery has been solved. And that was back in sometime in 2020. Robin came along, did a little bit of investigating, and then did some special countdown saying, I have the information, I know the outcome of Kenny Veach, and I'm going to reveal it shortly. It built anticipation, heightened certain expectations and ideas. And when the video finally dropped, the, common consensus was, oh, is that it? Just an opinion at the end of the day. No real hard evidence or real footage or remains of anything. So it was a bit of a letdown, and that's what led to resistance, a bit of confusion, complaints, the lot, and then that might have caused Robin to disappear or disable his comments and delete his videos at the end of it. So that's just one example of someone. And I'll explain the effect it has afterwards, okay? Another person in more recent time, and it's not full on because it's going to be interpreted in a bad way the way I say it, but J Chuck. The way J Chuck has come across at times in some of his videos, or at least the titles of his videos, he says, mystery concluded. Kenny Veach has been solved. The end. M Cave doesn't exist. The end. And you look at his videos, that's, in a way, that's the titles on some of his videos. And you think, well, if that is the case, then why does he keep uploading another video a few weeks or a month later saying the same thing? If you believe it's been solved, then why are you going back to it, covering it again? Now, this is where people want to try and play psychological warfare with me in whatever regards and say, yes, but you, Andrew, you're doing the same exact thing. No. Rewind to the start of this video. Because as I said, yes, progression has been made. New evidence, findings, footage, leaning towards a certain direction. I covered that sort of stuff. I received certain information and gave my opinion in a sense and theories that can apply to it. But I never said at any point, case closed, the end. I said, it's looking more likely this could well be the outcome, or this is what could have happened, but who knows what happened after. You know what I'm saying? I've not said case closed. That's why I do go back to certain stuff, revisit certain things. It's very clear at the end of the day. I'll get into stuff I have said has been solved later on in the video, okay? Let's just look back at J Chuck. Let's just have a quick look at some of his video titles, descriptions and comments, okay? Just to get my point across. So, for example, this one on screen where it says Kenny Veach M-Cave case is ended. That's what J. Chuck said. Now, if we have a look at the description, it says the entire Kenny Veach and M-Cave mystery is solved. It is now a dead horse. I was very much initially disagreed, and I confess, even angry towards Atari, but now I am the same conclusion. The entire Kenny Veach case and mystery is solved, concluded, and ended. And same video, but by comment, he said, I declare this case to be ended and closed with finality and prejudice. I reserve ultimate respect and authority to the family. Jeff Clark made a valid point though. You keep saying that things are debunked and solved when they are not. Consider debunk to expose the sham or falseness of, and solve to find a solution, explanation, or answer for, such as evidence, facts, statistics, material, video footage, the lot. So at the end of the day, what really is the issue? Well, basically, it kind of makes a mockery of the mystery in general, and even a mockery of sub-mysteries and pre-established developed ideas and theories. That's what it ends up doing, because, you know, by setting up all these false lines of hope, sure, in the long term, it will attract a lot of people, bring a lot of people in who think, oh, this has been solved, let's have a look. And then in a short space of time, they're left disappointed and, you know, underwhelmed, thinking, oh, is that it? And then that can lead to unrest. It can lead to things being blown out of proportion, people thinking off track and not taking into consideration the actual pre-established ideas and theories, which are making progression in a certain way, in a valid and, you know, in a sense, reliable way. It all gets blown out of proportion and it kind of implodes on itself. And then the mystery, it's like a joke. Certain ideas are now a joke. Just like how the documentary of Kenny Veach swayed it a certain way. That pre-established idea of suicide, backing up with certain points, making it seem more believable, more valid over the idea of what Susan put forth in the documentary, because the documentary was, you know, from the looks of it and from what was said, was being swayed in a certain direction. And if you apply it right now with people supposedly claiming the mystery's been solved, certain stuff has been resolved, that's it. When it hasn't, that false impression isn't going to have a good first-time impression on new viewers and new people involved in the mystery, is it? So you got to be careful with the choice of words you use. Now, in my videos, in my titles, I might say, has this been solved? Has it really been solved? And I always put a question mark after it because, yes, the evidence that is being presented, it does seem to sway in that direction. But is it ultimately for definite? Not quite. As I said, unless there's remains or unless there's an actual physical proof, footage, picture, up-to-date interview of him, then yes, then you can say 100% certain. But there's always still a grain, a sense of uncertainty no matter what, okay? That's just how it works, that's how it is, and that can apply to anything and everything at the end of the day. So as I said, I make sure to use certain choices of words and I'm specific with what I say, so there's not as much confusion, not as much disappointment, etc. Now, if we're going into stuff that has been solved and there is, you know, a fair bit of evidence to support it and to prove it, well, really, there's two. Number one, and I always refer back to it because it's a good example with many other different appliances, the keyhole. Not exactly the hole itself, but more to do with what supposedly was caught on camera, the eye, where it looked like it peeked up and then hid. At the time, sure, with the footage and with what was going on and discussions, it was creating a mystery within itself, something quite big, something a bit shocking to some people. And yes, it took time, but when it was solved, and it was provided by a psychological explanation, and a fair one to say the least, with an example as well, a real-time applied example, which I used with the keyhole. A few people were a bit, you know, pissed off or because they couldn't be asked watching the whole video, so they didn't see that part, but that's their fault. But yeah, provided a psychological explanation with a real life example, applying it on the spot, showing it in the video, and then further reinforcement down the line of Silverheels stepping in, actually investigating physically there at the time, at the spot, looking at it, investigating it, and then concluding himself. I mean, that is the sort of evidence you need. You know what I'm saying? And if we put that aside, the other one that was solved, so the mystery of the mineshaft, damage to it. Sure, there could have been some people that said, well, I already knew that was the case, but did you have evidence of it at the time? No. And yeah, I covered it back then. Yes, here's pictures of damage to it. Here's a comparison, proof there's been damage, proof someone's been there at a point in time with a comparison. And then in recent time, it triggered catalyst. You know, I always use that word because there's a reason for it. Catalyst. Someone ended up stepping up. Someone came along. Someone provided a video and explained what happened. I covered it, solved. Actual video footage of people breaking the ladder, damaging the mineshaft. By accident, yes, but they did explain and did say damage was caused accidentally by them. That's the sort of evidence you need, you want. So yeah, I think that basically sums it up, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if this is gonna piss certain people off, but to be honest, I'm being realistic, okay? Simple as, straight to the point. So I'll see you in the next video, and we'll be looking at certain related stuff regarding the hike. And I'll say it now before there's more confusion or people start getting pissed, is the next video or two I'm making, because they are still valid. Whether you want to apply it to Kenny Veach being out there in the desert, if that's your perspective. In my case, I can still definitely apply it in terms of the mystery of Eric the hiker. And if you want to rule that out, the mystery of the other unknown missing individual hiker out there. I think it's near, is it near, actually I forgot the name of the canyon, but basically within the same area of Kenny Veach, who was being searched by private search and rescue, like what Gene said. So it can still apply certain looks analysis, because even if Kenny, you know, is there or not, if there's other people out there, then you can still have a look at that and you can still apply it in whatever way. So it's malleable, it's flexible, but it works. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.